Good evening, welcome to the first edition of CopaLoadofRacing of 2019. Happy New Year to you all. Hope you all had a good one. It was nice to have a wee break myself, and we're ready to get stuck into the racing for 2019, hoping that we'll see plenty of good action this year. Exciting year ahead, both in the jumps and on the flat. We have that time of year now we're just starting to really get our teeth into. Really just Cheltenham is on the horizon, the festival, and it seems a bit bizarre to say that with us only really into January, but this is the time when most horses have had. We've seen most of the horses that are going to be going to Cheltenham, whether here in the UK or over in Ireland. There's still some races of interest to come up. Got Trials Day at Cheltenham obviously at the end of this month. There's an interesting card at Newbury in February. We've also got Cheltenham's Trials Day at Musselburgh to look forward to as well, early in February. I think it's this 8th and 9th of February, and that will it usually flings up some good clues that weekend of racing. And then really we're nearly there into the festival itself, so plenty to look forward to in that sphere. But let's, looking back on 2018, a really big year in terms of on the flat. We've seen when you look at the flat racing and what was achieved by Enable in particular, winning the Arc in such an impressive style, but I think we really do have a lot to look forward to in the sprint division, and also with Enable being trained again for next season. That's going to be interesting to see her coming out, hopefully see her at Royal Ascot and then on to the likes of Longchamp. But when we think of the other horses that are also going to be kept in training for next year, it really does lead to an interesting year ahead in that respect. What we'll probably do is round about early springtime is look ahead, and I'll pick out a few horses that I think will be worth following in this flat season. Meydan is now underway, the Dubai Festival, and I've not really had a tuned into it yet. I'll probably give it another couple of weeks, and then I'll start to focus on Meydan when the racing really does pick up in interest, right up until the end of March when we have the Dubai World Cup, of course. So lots to look forward to. Tomorrow's cards, it's one of those days where Kempton has a good card with the Lanzarote hurdle. Warwick has its big day of the year with the Classic Chase, and they've got a couple of novice races and one of the Temps qualifiers as well for Cheltenham. So plenty of that. It's not a standout weekend by any stretch of the imagination, but it's still a decent bit of racing to look over. Now at Kempton in the 205, it's the 32 Red Casino Chase. It's a listed race over 2.5 miles. Charbel will probably be one horse that a lot of people look to at having won the Peterborough Chase, but for me, Top Notch, who is currently favourite, is the one to beat here. Had a disappointing run, if you remember, looking back to this time around at Ascot, when it didn't really run well at all, but won late in the season in 2018 at Sandown pretty impressively. And we actually seen it run at Ascot just before Christmas in over hurdles in the long walk hurdle, and I'd backed at that age weight and finished third, and so it'll be stripped fit after that race, I'm sure. Back over fences here. I was going to be interested to see if that was going to still be the long-term plan for Top Notch, but it seems to be the case for it to go chasing, and I think Top Notch will be suited more than any other horse in this race. This trip is spot on for him, and that's why I think he'll be very difficult to beat tomorrow. Looking on to the 240, the actual Lanzarote hurdle itself, not named after the island, but the great Lanzarote racehorse, which was probably named after the island anyway. But there's 2 each way punts here. I know the Gary Moore horse is coming on for a lot of interest, but 2 each way horses are put up. Canyon City, Bryony Frost takes a ride here. This horse has been running pretty well. I think I've seen it running well at Fakenham. This is a bigger challenge for it, but I think it's always been up there in its races this season, so it's in good form and at a bigger price could run really well. And Star of Lanka for Warren Greatrix. This is a novice that's been pretty impressive, I think, in its last 2 runs. This is much more competitive and running against more experienced horses, but for me it's going in the right direction, and it's got maybe some more improvement in it, and it could show it here in this race. So each way punts on Canyon City and Star of Lanka in the 240 at Kempton, the Lanzarote hurdle. Right, moving over to Warwick, I'll look at that classic chase, a big staying chase, handicap chase of the year. Now, Cogley is a horse we see a lot of the times. It's a bit of a favourite with a lot of racing punters as well. Finished second in this race last year, running on well, and set fair for this after a good run at Cheltenham. So the Twiston Davis team, Sam, and for his dad, teaming up here, and I think Cogley could run pretty well. Run about 7 to 1 at the moment, and at that price I think it's decent value because of the form it's currently in. Final race I'll look at it's not a big Saturday card at Wetherby by any means, but the 250, there's one horse that I'll pick out, horse that I've backed a few times on the flat, but the Blue Hussar should benefit from running on well at Wetherby. I think it was back in November. It's not been still running off the same weight as in that race, and I think it's not the toughest of handicap races, and so Blue Hussar, running about 5s at the moment, should run well in that one. Okay, so that's just about it from me. I was looking at the Lingfield card and Kent and Newcastle as well, where they're running, of course, all on the flat. Nothing I would have to say to you jumped out immediately at me, so I'm going to just give that a bye just now. But that'll be it for this week. So, as I say, a few decent races tomorrow at the likes of Kempton and Warwick, and really try and get myself back into race mode after the festivities. Exciting racing, of course, there was over the Christmas and New Year period with the Christmas festival both at Kempton and the corresponding festival at Leopardstown, and then New Year's Day card at Cheltenham was one that I've kind of looked over back on TV over the past couple of days, looking over some of those races, and it certainly is starting to get the brain thinking, as I say, about Cheltenham. And I know I've said in this vlog plenty of times over the past couple of months that, oh God, everything seems to be dominated by Cheltenham, but I think when you get past the Christmas New Year period, that's when you really do think about Cheltenham, and you do start to consider these performances that you're seeing, because some of the horses that you're now going to see the next time they do run will be at the festival, so you are taking pointers there. But best of luck tomorrow, folks, for your punting. Certainly hoping that 2019 brings a lot more profit out of these tips and punts. But I'll be back again same time, well, not same time, but I'll be back same night next week, Friday night, for the vlog. Hope you can see you then. CopaLoadofRacing.